For me, I view them as more of a staging area, but if you wanted to call it a dashboard, you could. What I like about pinboards is that they stay live, so the data still is manipulatable in the pinboard. So after I send it to the dashboard, it's not set in stone. It's another place that I can go and specifically interact with pre-built things that I can build to help me in my day-to-day business. And come back to, and I can refresh them at any time. So after you build yourself a pin board, it's refreshable all day long. So long as you've got new data coming in, Quaeris can show it to you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Cynthia Bonner. I'm the Director of Retail Operations at Quaeris, and I'm excited to be here today to show you Quaeris and why I think that it will be a great solution for all of us in the community, not just analysts, not just salespeople, but I think that it is a collaborative solution that is going to help us execute around our data a little bit faster. For those of you that don't know very much about me or don't recognize me, I have been in the industry here for about 20 years, and more than likely at some point or another, I've sat in the chair that you're sitting in right now as an analyst, as a category advisor, as a pricing analyst for Sam's Club. I've worked for Deloitte. I've done quite a bit in the industry around data and making it dance for whoever it needs to dance for in order to get better execution in stores and get your product across the register, make sure it's on the shelf. And I was exposed to Quaeris about 4 years ago in an alpha, and I was excited about it then. It still had some ways to go. And in the time since, they have doubled down, and I am just incredibly impressed with the product that Quaeris has put together. I am so excited to share it with you today. And I do think that we've all seen tools come and go. You know, we've seen it all, Shiloh all the way to Power BI, and all of them require complex training and possibly even a whole new coding language to learn. And they're really great at reporting the news. However, they're not really great at getting the news to you fast enough that you can actually change the news and execute around the problem proactively. And Quaeris, that's where Quaeris is different. We can get you there faster, better, stronger, and change the narrative around your business so that instead of talking to your buyers about what happened, you can talk about what's going to happen and how to better handle whatever that might be. Quaeris gives you access to your data where it resides. And what I love most about Quaeris is how secure it is, because it's where your data is sitting right now. We can sit on top of your data wherever it might be. It doesn't matter if it's in Snowflake or SQL or a bunch of CSV files that you've been collecting for 25 years in your SharePoint. And some of you know who I'm talking to. So I am really excited to show you this today. So just bear with me and we'll get into it right now. And I think you're going to like what you see. All right, so here we go. When you log into Quaeris, what's great about Quaeris is that it is not a software that you have to download onto a desktop or install or anything like that. You just log into the web using your email address for your organization. Quaeris is a Microsoft shop, so we align with Microsoft security. I'm not going to get into that, but you should know that your users, if they don't have access to the folders in your SharePoint or setup, we align with your security so that it stays secure that way. So that only the people in your organization are looking at your data that they are allowed to look at. So after having said that, let's get into it. You log in. This is what it looks like. It shows you all your different notebooks, which are all your different data sets. As you can see, I have quite a few here, but we're going to go into CPG. This is a demo data set. It is not live data or real data. So it's going to function just like it would sitting on top of your data. And it is pre-layered to work specifically with Walmart CPG. And it comes out of the box this way for you so that you don't have to go through that process. I take care of it for you. So that said, here we go. Let's talk about where is your data? Well, your data resides in the connection area. and you can connect to as many tables as you would like. Right here, you can see that I'm connected to 7 different tables. This is all dummy data that is designed to look like Walmart's data, so that you will see familiar things like headers and things that are familiar. So we've got 7 tables here. And I can tell you that a couple of these tables are over 3 or 4 million rows each. So that should give you a good idea of what we're processing across. So that's where your data is. Where your data is your decision. If you want it in Snowflake, we'll connect to Snowflake. We are agnostic. We really don't care where your data is. We only care that it is available in some way for us to connect to it. So now that we've established where's the data, let's talk about where your documents are. I want to show you that your documents, we can sync up with SharePoint. So if you have a folder like I do here that has a whole bunch of BOLs in it, you can point your system at that folder, and we will come back to that here in a minute. But for right now, I just want you to know that that's where your data can be. You can connect to it in a folder, a bunch of PDFs, or you can connect to tables. If you want to view your data, we also can show you your data in data view. You can once again see all your tables. You can connect to them, click on them, and see what's in the actual headers. That's really important when sometimes you're trying to figure out the question that you're wanting to ask. All right, now let's talk about user interfaces. User interfaces in this instance are notebooks, spaces, pinboards, and stories. A notebook is where we're at right now. We are in the CPG notebook. It is basically just a data repository where you would ask questions. It is assigned to certain tables and certain levels of information. You can have more than one notebook connected to the same data in a couple of different ways. So this is where notebook flexibility is. It's really flexible, and you can have as many as you need. So we're in the CPG notebook, and this is a space. So if you want a new space, you could start a brand new space and call it whatever you like. Or you can ask a question inside your space. I'm going to go here, and I am going to ask total negative amount paid. So you can see I am choosing my different ways that I want, how I want Quaeris to behave. So I want it to do advanced just because I'm picky and I like for it to be advanced. And I'm auto joining all these tables so that if it needs to cross information between them or do any interesting joins, it enables the system to automatically do that. So I'm going to ask for total negative amount paid by deduction class. Okay, so we're looking at deductions in this instance. So we're asking the question, and it's going to think for a minute, and then it's going to show us what it's got. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so these are our negative amounts paid by deduction class. Well, I can clearly see that my big problem here is my shipment and receiving issue. So I'm going to ask a follow-up question. Let's see. You know what? Show me negative. Show me, let's filter down to shipment. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask it to show it to me by deduction description. Okay, so you change to using deduction description. So right now I've got it by deduction class, but I want to see all the deduction descriptions. I want to see where the real problems are. Wow. Okay. So it looks like the real problems are over in duplicate payment and duplicate billing, which also falls under shipment and receiving issues. So let's just filter down to only shipment and receiving issues. Okay. Well, here's my shipment receiving issues, and it's all, duplicate billing. All right. So, you know what? I'm gonna change this to a table. And then what do I do with this after I figure out that I've got 1.5 million in duplicate billing? Like we're clearly working twice as hard for our money. The AR team is having to do stuff twice. We probably should figure out why that's happening and get in front of it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to send this to my community and I'm going to ask my team. I'm going to say, hey guys, can someone dig into why the AR team is having to submit invoices 2 to 3 times? Our duplicate billing numbers are insane. And then I'm going to send it to the community. All right. Let's talk about community and let's go look at it. So here we are in the community, and I've asked this question. And then someone on my team can come back with an answer or offer to dig into it. Oh, there goes Mary Kate. See? All right, so we're good. So I can just move back to where I was at. Mary Kate's got it. She's gonna roll, and we're gonna keep on going. So that's collaboration and sharing. You can send it to the community, but I really like this. I really like this slide. I really like this graph. So I'm also going to pin it. I'm going to send it to my deductions pin board. And that takes us, we've covered notebooks, we've covered spaces. So now let's cover pin boards. Pin boards are fun. They're like dashboards, but for me, I view them as more of a staging area, but if you wanted to call it a dashboard, you could. What I like about pin boards is that they stay live, so the data still is manipulatable in the pin board. So after I send it to the dashboard, it's not set in stone. It's another place that I can go and specifically interact with pre-built things that I can build to help me in my day-to-day business and come back to, and I can refresh them at any time. So after you build yourself a pin board, it's refreshable all day long. So long as you've got new data coming in, Quaeris can show it to you. So here I am, once again, back to this duplicate billing thing, and it's kind of annoying me. I need to send a solution set to my team so they know Mary Kate probably needs a little bit of help to track down. So I'm going to double click on duplicate billing. And as you can see, it has filtered here in the dashboard. And I now have a list of checks that have transactions, that 1.5 again, remember we just saw that 1.5 million again in deductions that are from duplicate billing. So you know what? I bet this will help Mary Kate. So I'm going to send this to the community again, and I will say, hey, Mary Kate, here's the checks and the dates and amounts of all the duplicate billing transactions. Let me know if you need anything else. All right, I'm going to send that to the community. Mary Kate, I don't even go look. She's on it. All right, so when I sent it, I sent her this already pre-filtered. The filter's going to go with it. Now, she, on the other side, can release the filter if she wants to, but I don't know why she would since we're trying to dig into why these duplicate billings are happening. All right, that's just an example of a really great workflow that I think would be impactful in our community because generally speaking, when there's a deduction, it involves a lot of hunting, searching, and cross-team communication that doesn't always work out in a timely manner. All right, you can reset your filter and then, that's the deductions pin board. Here's a year over year pin board where I can go and look at my business. I can see the total sales and quantity and graphs and see what's going on here. Pin boards are super flexible. You can build them however you would like. You can share them with your team right here. I can add people to my Pinboard that need to see it. Everything is collaborative in Quaeris. You can share anything and everything with your team. Like if I show it to you, you can share it with someone. If I took up our time in this meeting showing you the sharing function, we would be here all day because it's all share. So one of my favorite things about Quaeris is document scanning. That's the fun part. We're going to do that now. All right. So we're going to go back into our notebook and into our space. Remember, I told you about SharePoint here earlier of the BOLs that I have here. So great thing about Quaeris is that it can search your document scans and you can ask it questions. So I want to go find how many BOLs were not signed this week so that we can track those down. So show me unsigned BOLs. Now, you have to click the Docs button in order to do it. And I am a notorious person for forgetting to do that. I'm so proud that I remembered. Okay, so show me unsigned BOLs. So it's going to scan all those BOLs. It's going to look for the ones with signatures and the ones without. Here are the three that do not have signatures. Now, you could have thousands of pages of BOLs. Quaeris is going to drill you into only the specific page you need. So Quaeris, when it does a document search, it gives you the results and it breaks it down for you, but it also cites itself and gives you source. So you can click on it and go just to that specific page. And what do you know? There's nothing signed. Well, guess what? You're not getting paid on that PO because it's not signed. Only now you know about it, hopefully in time to do something about that. Okay, so another thing we could do is, hey, look for BOLs that have signatures. Okay, so here we go. We've got the shipper. So we got one that has both signatures. And look at that. There's my signature. I got a carrier, but not a shipper signature. So my own warehouse didn't sign that. All right, that's something that I can operationally work around. And Quaeris just gave me visibility to it without me having to even leave this window interface. I didn't have to go to SharePoint. I didn't have to go to an email and track down an attachment. I didn't have to do any of those things. So I love document scan. I'm going to do one more thing with document scan just because I love it so much. We have all our Walmart documentation here, like, just every supplier guide that I've ever collected over the last, however long it is. You can ask questions. So, how do I become a Walmart supplier? And it will give you step-by-step instructions from the documentation along with citations where you can go and you can verify the information. You can ask it, what is Project Gigaton? Or you can ask it, how do I set up an item? And this isn't just limited to Walmart stuff either. You can put your vendor agreements in here. You can search your vendor agreements. You can search HR documentation, applications for positions, current employee records, whatever you want to put in here, we can search on top of it. So there you go. Here is how to become a Walmart supplier and the citations for it. So I could sit here and ask questions all day long, so I'm going to move on to the part where when can Quaeris work for you when you're not even at the computer? When can Quaeris work while you're sleeping or while your team is resting or on retreat? Or maybe we all go on vacation to Hawaii. I don't know. But agents is what comes up next. So we're going to talk about AI agents. AI agents are schedulable, and they're basically just an AI function that runs in the background according to what you've asked it to do. It gets you an output and it sends it wherever you want it to go. So In this, we're looking for BOLs without signature, coincidentally. So it's going to go through, it's going to search your recent BOLs that have come in into the folder, and it's going to do a check. And then if anything doesn't have a signature, it's going to throw out a notification, and in this case, it's going to send it to the community. You build it using components of the agentlet, the action, and the scheduler. I'm not going to dig into all of that, but we can execute from here, or it can be run on a schedule. In this case, I have chosen for the execution to appear in the community that we were just in. So it's going to execute here. Give it a second, and you'll see a green window up here that tells you, yay, you won. Okay, so we did that. So now we can go to the community here. And you can see that I have triggered an agent, and it is going to go look for those things. And when it finishes, it will post a notification here that that it's complete, and same as when we typed in the question about looking for BOLs without signatures, it'll give us a similar output and result. It does tend to run in a queue, so I don't know that we'll get an answer right this second. We might not. It just depends on how long it takes to scan those folders. This is an agent that goes and looks for ghost inventory. Um, and then after it finds the ghost inventory, it gives you a store list, store item combinations that are potentially ghost inventory, which, as everyone knows, ghost inventory is inventory that's supposed to be sitting on the shelf but might not actually be there. And a great way to identify those stores is to look for stores that haven't had a sale, have on hands, and haven't had any ships over a period of time, usually 4 to 13 weeks, where it appears that sales have stagnated in the store. And those are stores that we need to get eyes on or send someone out or take action in order to make sure there is actually product on the shelf. Anybody that is in the industry knows that ghost inventory is kind of like a snipe hunt. It's kind of like an urban legend in this area. Being able to identify ghost inventory and do something about it is really, really difficult. And I was so excited when I discovered that Quaeris had this capability and would be able to do all that hunting and searching for me overnight, so that I can just come in the morning and execute around what the list is, because that's where my time is valuable. That's where your time is valuable. As the people on the ground, the real stakeholders that are making sure the product's on the shelf and can cross the register. All right, so I have covered AI agents, document scanning, collaboration. We've covered pin boards, which are dashboards. Let's talk about stories. Stories are sort of like reports. We call them stories because there's so much flexibility in what you can do with it to craft a story. Once again, I just want to remind you, we still haven't left this window. We haven't gone to Excel. We haven't gone to Power BI. We haven't gone anywhere. We are still in this one window, answering all the questions that we need to answer. So here is a story that's been shared with me. I tasked my team with putting it together. They have sent it to me for approval. All stories require approval from someone, because at the end of the day, we want the output to still have a human perspective, in that we want you to approve it before you send it out. In this case, it's just a summary around the deductions. So you would, just like you do with the pin board, you would, you would, from the pin board, you would send to a story, or you can send it from the interface. It is still functional. In that, you can still click on data and see, and you can still change things around. This is your edit interface, where you kind of decide what you want it to look like. You can request an explanation from the system, can generate an explanation. Be like, okay, what's the explanation for all these deductions? And it'll go through and it'll come back with some statistical analysis if you choose to use it. Um, and it'll give you just, basic information here, extremely high negative amounts for duplicate billing and duplicate payment. We already figured that out, but, Quaeris went and did it for us too. Wide range of deduction amount, negative amounts for no merchandise received for invoice and goods billed not shipped are notably high. Well, gee, we've all seen that before. So you can copy what you want and paste it into a window or do whatever you want to do with it. Craft your story here in the stories. Craft it. And then save it and know that next week, when it's time to do this process all over again, that you have saved it. And that will inform my team that I've made changes. I'm saving it. And then after you're done crafting your story, you would set this up as either a template to have reoccurring publication where it will refresh and automatically send out wherever you want it to go, or you can just save it as a template for your own purposes for when you want to trigger it and refresh it. And then you publish. And as you can see here, you can export it to PDF or you can export it directly into PowerPoint so that you can continue your crafting of your story in a presentation that you would use, with your buyer or whomever. This came out in PowerPoint. As you can see, it's looks exactly the same as what you just saw on the screen. It's already scaled into PowerPoint. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a real big fan of PowerPoint, but I know lots of people that, it's a necessary evil. We got to stick stuff in PowerPoint. But as you can see, it's formatted perfectly. It fits right into PowerPoint. You're not having to go around and, fix it again. You can go directly from Quaeris to PowerPoint, and same for PDF. So I think that's about all the content that I'm planning to cover today. You will see on the screen everything that we have covered. All that remains for your team is to reach out to us and start asking questions. And if you would like to reach out to us, please visit our website or find us on LinkedIn. And as you can see up on the screen, our contact information is there as well. We would love to meet with you and help you make your data executable faster, stronger, better, and get your team out of the weeds and into actually executing around this data and taking action and making changes in your business that are increasing your in-stocks, increasing your on-shelf availability, and getting the product across the register. Because I know that's all our day-to-day struggle, and Quaeris is an excellent tool to help with that. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.